Hey YouTube, how's it going there? This is Yaso here. This is a champion guide for Alure. Alright, let's get right into looking at her skills. On her A1, she does 3 hits at random, and if the attack is critical, then she reduces the target's turn meter by 25% for each critical hit. Her A1 is what Alure is known for. If you can crit for each of the hits, then Alure is able to keep some of the bosses from ever having a turn. Her A2 attacks all enemies 2 times, and each hit has a 30% chance of putting up a 30% decreased defense for 1 turn. This is the weak version of decreased defense, and she also puts a sleep debuff for all enemies under decreased defense. This ability makes her pair really well with another champion that can put up an AoE decreased defense. This way, when she does use her A2, it'll put a sleep debuff on all enemy champions with decreased defense on. Because Alure is squishy, the sleep debuff will help her a lot because the enemy champion misses a turn of attacking when they're under the sleep debuff, which means that your team gets more turns. In my battle example coming up, I will be pairing Alure with Tyrell and Ice Golem, and I have Alure paired with Stag Knight and Fire Knight. Her A3 is a single target ability. It attacks one enemy, has an extra 30% chance of doing a critical hit, and ignores 50% of the target's defense. Before we get to the battles, let's take a look at her gears. Alright, this is what I have geared on my Alure. I have her in 1 set of critical rate, 1 set of critical damage, and an offset. Here are my stats. The stats that you want is to have high attack because her damage scales off of attack. You also want speed, critical rate, critical damage, and accuracy on her. For Alure to do her decreased turn meter, you need accuracy on her. Without accuracy, she's not going to decrease turn meter. What I try to aim for is to have my speed over 170 and my accuracy over 200 for any stage 20 dungeons. Now, I don't have any math for these stats, but these are the stats that I personally try to aim for at the minimum. Another stat that you want on Alure is critical rate. Now, I know this, I have my critical rate above 100%, which I probably could lower that a bit. But what you need is 100% critical rate or as close as you can to 100%. You want this stat high because Alure's A1 is dependent on it. Alure's A1 decreases turn meter by 25% for each critical hit. When you have Alure at 100% critical rate, that means that all 3 hits are going to be critical, and each one of those hits is going to be dropping 25% off of turn meters. Now let's take her to Fire Knight, and I'll show you why she's amazing here. Alright, I'm going to speed this up until we get to the boss. Just seeing this, don't you wish that Raid would add in like a 3x speed or a 5x speed for dungeon runs? It would make dungeon clearing so much faster. And yeah, I would like to see that happen one day. Alright, we're finally at the boss. Now, pay attention to the boss's turn meter. Once we break that shield and Alure gets going, then the Fire Knight just never gets a turn after that. Okay, the shield is off. Now look at the turn meter when Alure gets her turn. You see that? The Fire Knight just lost a chunk of his turn meter. Alright, and from here on, the Fire Knight will probably never get a turn. So now I'm going to speed this battle up a little bit. Then we're going to take a look at Alure and Ice Golem. And look at this. the Fire Knight is not getting any turns. So Allure is pretty OP and broken in this dungeon for this exact reason. Alright, so now we're in Ice Golem, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing that I did earlier with the Fire Knight. I'm going to speed this battle up until we get to the boss. Now in this battle too, also pay attention to the Ice Golem's turn meter. After you kill those two, then Allure will start taking chunks off of the Ice Golem's turn meter. And after that starts, his only way of attacking you or dealing damage to your team is for him to do it through his counter. So now I'm going to do the same thing I did with the Fire Knight. I'm going to speed up this battle by just a little bit. And then let's talk about Allure's mastery after that. So yeah, Allure is a great champion for Fire Knight and Ice Golem. She's usable in Dragon, but her A1 doesn't decrease the Dragon's turn meter, so Allure is not the most efficient for the Dragon's dungeon. Here, let me show you this quick clip of using Allure in Dragon, and then we'll move on to talking about her masteries. Now, keep an eye on her A1 as it doesn't decrease the Dragon's turn meter. So, you see that how her A1 is not decreasing the Dragon's turn meter? She's definitely usable in this dungeon, as her A2 will help with clearing waves, but her kit isn't the most efficient against the dragon itself. Alright, so mastery. This is what I have on Allure right now. So I'm also telling you that you don't need full mastery on Allure for her to be usable. But let's say if I were to get all masteries on her, here's how I would do it. The red circles are the masteries that I'll be taking for sure. The orange circles are masteries that I would take if I prefer Helm Smasher. And the yellow circle are the masteries that I would take if I want flawless execution. What you want is you want to grab the offense and support tree for Allure. What you don't want is to grab the defensive tree. Here's why. Because in most situations, you will have Allure on your team to prevent champions or bosses from getting their turn. As you saw in my video clips, once Allure gets going, then the bosses don't really get their turns anymore. So it means that you won't be getting hit. Therefore, the defense mastery isn't efficient on her. You want offense and support tree because you want to maximize Allure's damage potential and you want her decreased turn meter to hit. And you get that from the accuracy that exists within the support tree. Overall, Allure is a great champion. She's on my Fire Knight Stage 20 and Ice Golem Stage 20 team. If you do happen to pull one, then build her up. She's very usable in game. Alright, and that's all I have for today. If you have any questions for me or any feedback for me, please let me know in the comments below. Please like and subscribe to my video. And thank you very much for watching my videos, and I hope to see you back again. Thank you.